Hey everyone, it's Hydro Pump here. I am bringing you guys a combo tutorial video for Dragon Turbo. Yep. This deck can do some combos. It's just a lot of OTK lines that you pretty much have to know to play the deck. It's also good for you to know like what the deck does and what lines they're going for, what's going to happen. We're just going to run through some combos. I mentioned some of them in the past in other videos, but this is going to be a completely dedicated video to these combos, so we're just going to jump right into it. So this very first one is pretty simple, and you can probably do it as soon as turn 1 too. So yep, you can just normal summon Debris Dragon, get Whitestone and Legend, activate Instant Fusion, and this extra deck isn't completely accurate. I just put a bunch of combo pieces in here, so I'm missing some things that are probably needed, but I just made space for enough combos pieces in the extra deck so I can show everything. So don't look at this extra deck and think it's the go-to one. It's just probably has like 20 different extra deck options you can use with this deck. So anyways, you bring out E-Hero Mariner or any other level 5 fusion that you want, and you make Brionic, and you can search Blue Eyes. Now if Whitestone's in the grave already, you probably have Blue Eyes, but if you activate Trident, discarding Blue Eyes, well, here's another one. Anyways, you can now banish the Debris Dragon, summon Red Eyes, and you can even use Brionic effect to discard the Blue Eyes you just added. Then you activate the Red Eyes Darkness Metal, summon Blue Eyes. Now, this is game if they're at 8,000, and you know, if it's turn 1 of the game and you're doing this, you probably don't have to worry about Gores or Tragodia, because like, I mean, if they saw in the first 6 cards, like, congrats, they live a turn. If not, they lose. Even if they do have it, you have Brionic to spin Trigar Gores cards, and then if you have more cards in hand, and then they still have to deal with this field anyway. So yep, so Brionic would be 2,300. Red Eyes would be 2,800, and Blue Eyes will be 3,000. So that is 8,100 points of damage, which would do it through, you know, the life points, as long as you didn't activate Upstart this turn. So that is the first combo here. Pretty simple and easy to do. Here's another straightforward one that's pretty easy to do. All you pretty much need is Debris Dragon, 2 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragons, and you need to have Whitestone engraved, and then like Quackmere Drago and Blue Eyes in your, you know, hand or graveyard. So yep, we just go Debris Dragon, get Whitestone, then you banish Whitestone for Red Eyes, and you can banish Debris Dragon for Red Eyes, and you can activate both of these to get Drago and Blue Eyes. And this amount of damage is going to be, I think it's 10,000 damage threshold, as long as their field is clear and it gets through, you know, Gores, Battlefield, or Track. So that's kind of like ultimately what we're trying to do here. And yeah, so if you activate Upstart Goblin twice, then you can still perform this OTK, and all it really requires you to have is Debris Dragon, 2 red mids in hand. So again, pretty easy to reach. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward and, you know, bread and butter combo for dragons. So this combo is a little different. This is like a last-ditch effort to OTK your opponent if you don't have any resources. For some reason you don't have red mids, you can't find them, or you're just out of red mids. This is kind of like your you know, last thing up your sleeve to win the game. So pretty much all you need is Debris Dragon, Instant Fusion, Whitestone or Guard Engrave, and like just 2 cards to pop, because we're going to be trying to go for that Trident Dragon. So you just go Debris Dragon, get Whitestone, you can activate Instant Fusion, getting it level 5 you really want. Well, yeah, he works. Let's go to all the grave, you synchro the Whitestone and the level 5 for your Iron Chain Dragon, hence Dragon, a real dragon. Not Brionic, but you synchro Debris Dragon and Iron Chain for Trident, and you pop these 2 cards and you just attack for 9,000. So again, if you upstart once, just go for this and go for game. So, I mean, this, you can even do this as soon as turn 1 if you want to, if you just want to send it. There's an opening there. You can just go for the OTK line, and again, you put them on having Gores in the first, you know, six cards in hand, and if they got it, they got it. If not, then you win. So, it's a pretty nifty thing you can do just out of nowhere. So, pretty useful. So here's a Trident Dragon OTK line you can have. You just have to have 2 things to pop with Trident Dragon: a Debris Dragon, Red Eyes, prime material in your hand or grave, and White Stone in the grave. So you just go Debris Dragon, get White Stone. You banish White Stone, Red Eyes, and Red Eyes gets prime material Dragon. And then you can just synchro those off for your Trident Dragon, and you can just pop these 2 cards. So it is enough damage to go through 3 Upstart Goblins and even a Magical Android. So say your opponent, last ditch effort, you have to go for this, and your opponent, you're not sure if your opponent has Gores, you just don't have enough resources to worry about Gores, then you can go for this line, and if they don't have it, then you win the game. So it's pretty useful. So have you ever activated 3 Upstart Goblins and Dragon Turbo and wondered how? Well, how am I supposed to OTK my opponent now? Well, this combo will pretty much do a lot of damage, and you know, it'll just be a straight up OTK throw a lot of damage. So yep, so all you pretty much need here, well, you need Drago and prime material and hand or grave, and then you need White Stone and grave, or just like a Flame Veil Guard, same thing. And you need Debris Dragon, 2 Red Eyes, Darkness Metal Dragons, and up to 2 cards to pop, or just actually just 2 cards to pop. So pretty much you go Debris Dragon, get White Stone, you will banish the White Stone, summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal, then you go Darkness Metal, summon Prime Material Dragon, then you'll actually banish the Red Eyes, especially some of your other Red Eyes, because you need these 2 for Trident Dragon. And you'll go Red Eyes, summon Drago. You can set this, I just have Future Fusion, you don't really need it, but you know, it's often just lingering there the turn you activate or the next turn, then any other spell you pretty much draw. Spell or Trap, and then you get a Synchro Prime Material and Debris Dragon for your Trident. Trident's gonna pop Future Fusion and your other set card, and this damage is quite a bit, and then you got 9,000. So yep, it's 700 or 2,700 more than what you need to kill them. But and also if they do something weird like you activate 3 Upstarts and they had Magical Android, gaining like a couple 600s here or there, like there's still OTKs through that, as long as they don't have like a field, obviously. So yeah, this is a lot of damage. And yeah, this just plays through the hand traps again, like Gores and all that stuff. So this is one of my favorite combos to do. Just gets a lot of damage in there in one go. So this is a similar line. It's a little different because you may not have enough cards to pop with a Trident Dragon if you're going for this. So this is kind of where it goes. So you go Debris Dragon, get White Stone. So in this instance, instead of banishing White Stone, you can banish the Debris Dragon and summon Red Eyes. And Red Eyes effect to get Prime Material Dragon. Then you can synchro Prime Material Dragon and the stone off for Ancient Sacred Wyvern. And then you can you know, banish this Red Eyes to get Prime Material or Blue Eyes back. Say we'll just get Blue Eyes just because it's technically more damage. So because then you're also going to search Blue Eyes or it's in your grave. So yeah, this kind of depends on how much life points your opponent's at and you are at, because it gains the difference of if your life points are higher than your opponent's. So say they take 5,600 here, but you also have to factor in if you took life points. So obviously this isn't going to work if you took 6,000 life points this turn. And it also depends on if your opponent got Upstart Goblins, where they have like 3,000 more life points because of Upstart Goblins. So it's a little, you know, kind of dependent on the life points situation, but this is a good option if, you know, you don't have enough cards to pop with a Trident Dragon. You can go for the Ancient Sacred Wyvern line instead for a potential OTK line. Alright, so here's a interesting combo here. This is like Armory Arm OTK lines here, and pretty much what you need is your opponent to have a monster. For this particular scenario, if you are playing Dragoness in your extra deck, you need this monster to have at least 2,000 attack points, if not more. You could also play something like Flame Ghost instead of the Dragoness, just so because it's not a warrior. And there's also another reason why you can play Flame Ghost as well. But anyways, them to have a monster with at least 2,000 attack. And you need to have a level 7 monster on the field, so that could be Gores or the Gores token. Or you can have Gores Engrave with Tragodia on the field, just because Tragodia can copy Gores' level. So pretty much aside from that, you just need Instant Fusion, Debris Dragon, Red Eyes. And you know, that's relatively easy to do if you drew through your deck. Say for some reason you have your opponent has like Absolute Zero on the field, or something that even if you remove it from the field, like you can't OTK through it. So this is useful for that kind of scenario. Or for some reason you don't have Drago and you know they have Battle Fader or something like that. Some weird reason. Anyways, you can go for this line. So you go Debris Dragon, summon Stone, and then you can, you know, say Tragodia, copy level 7. You can synchro for a level 8 here, and Colossal Fighter. Now, if now you're gonna banish the Debris Dragon, summon Red Eyes, Red Eyes effect, get the Stone back. Instant Fusion, summon the Dragoness, and then you're going to synchro here for Armory Arm. Now normally, this monster would only have to be 1900, but if you're playing Dragoness, it has to be at 2000, so otherwise it will just have the same stats as Colossal Fighter. So right now Colossal Fighter will be at 2900, so it needs to have at least 100 more attack. And if this was Flame Ghost, then it could be at 1900. So, little difference there, but Dragoness can also be good for your opponent's Colossal Fighter, not crashing into all your red mids. So that's the reason you would play Dragoness instead of Flame Ghost, or one of the reasons. Anyways. So yeah, you just do Armory Arm attached to this token. Token goes to 3,000 attack. And then you just continuously crash the Colossal Fighter into this monster for game. Something worth noting is you have to make sure you have enough life points to do this. Say you're at 1,000 and you're doing this to Absolute Zero. You may not have enough life points to OTK them. So, and also you're paying 1,000 life points for Instant Fusion. So, it's things you have to consider, but it's definitely a line you can pull off if you are. You pretty much have to play Gores to do this, because he's a level 7, and Tragodia also. Well, you can also do Tragodia if you had used a Ancient Fairy Dragon or a Black Rose Dragon in previous turns. So that is something also worth considering. So you just need to have a level 7 Grave, which Black Rose and Ancient Fairy are level 7, so works out there. So this is still doable even if you're not playing Gores. So this line is pretty similar to the last one. There's a couple differences here. So one difference is that you have a Card Trooper or Vortex Trooper in the grave, if you're playing those. And say you don't have Instant Fusion, but you have a second Red Eyes Darkness Metal in your hand. You can do like pretty much the same OTKs, it's like a little different line. So you go Debris Dragon, get your Vortex Trooper, you banish your Debris Dragon, get Red Eyes effect, get your Stone back, Synchro Tragodia for Colossal Fighter, and then you can banish your Red Eyes for another Red Eyes, you know, get White Stone, and then you get Armory Arm. Now the good thing here about this line is that you don't have a Warrior Engrave like Dragoness, so this token can actually be at 1900, and then or the monster could be at 1900. You just crash into it that way. So a little difference there, and if it might matter here or there. But yeah, that's how you do that line. You end up in the same place, but you're putting a Vortex Trooper in the grave. You have to have a second Red Eyes, but you don't need an Infusion. So the little switch up there. So here's another Armory Arm line you can do. All it requires really is your opponent have a monster that's 2100. And yeah, so you just need a Breed Dragon, 2 Red Med, and an Infusion, and something to bring back, like a White Stone in the grave. So you go to Breed Dragon, get White Stone. You can banish the Breed Dragon, summon Red Eyes, Infusion for level 3 here. Then you're going to synchro off into Armory Arm. And White Stone can search a Blue Eyes. And this Blue Eyes doesn't have to be, say you have all 3 Blue Eyes engraved, this also works too. So you can go Red Eyes to summon Stone. You can banish Stone to summon Red Eyes, and then Red Eyes summon Blue Eyes. And then you can attach the Armory Arm to your opponent's monster. It goes up to 3100 attack, and then you can just crash your Red Eyes into their monster. You can crash all 3 of these into your opponent's monster, and so they're going to take 2000, 2000, and 3000. So that's going to be 8600 points of damage. Now, the only reason it has to be 2100 is because of Blue Eyes. But say for some reason you had a third Red Eyes, then you could probably just summon like a third Red Eyes or something else to get enough damage for to reach the 8000 threshold without. So it could be more like this monster could potentially be 1900 points of attack if you were in that situation. But yeah, this is a good way to put a lot of damage on your opponent's monster. Similar to the last one, like if you don't have Drago or Prime Material to do like a OTK clearing this monster and attacking through Gores or something like that, then this is a good line to go for if you have it. So yeah, this is a weird looking configuration, but it's pretty similar to the last one. This requires you to have a Vortex Trooper and a Stone Engrave, and 3 Red Eyes instead of Infusion. So you need to replace an Infusion with a Red Eyes, which isn't impossible, but it's just another line. So you go with the Breed Dragon, get the Vortex Trooper, you banish the Breed Dragon, get Red Eyes, get Stone, and then you'll synchro here for the Armory Arm. Then you can search up Blue Eyes. Then since we already used this Red Eyes effect to get the White Stone, you can banish this Red Eyes to get this one, and then this Red Eyes can get White Stone, and then you can banish this White Stone to get Red Eyes, and then you're just doing the same thing to get this amount of damage on the field. Oops, you would have this Armory Arm on your field, but anyways, and you can also just have like a random monster lingering on the field from a previous turn, or say your opponent doesn't have as much life points, so took one direct attack from a Red Eyes or a Blue Eyes or something, or a Drago. It kind of just depends. You don't always need to have the third Red Eyes. It just kind of depends what their life points is at. But yeah, this is pretty similar to the last Armory Arm OTK. So it's pretty cool that you can just attach it to your opponent's monster if you can't clear their field, and if they potentially have like Gores or something because you don't have Drago. It's kind of like a safer line into those possibilities. So if it's there, it's there, and it's just another tool for you to have. Alright, so here's an interesting combo line that requires Tempest Magician. Not a lot of builds really use Tempest Magician, but I think it's worthwhile if you're going to a tournament that has modern or advanced format time rules, where it's like end of phase, just because you can just burn your opponent that phase if you have Instant Fusion, and say it's like the first turn of the game, and you can just go cheese out Instant Fusion, make Tempest, and discard 4 cards for game. So I think it's worthwhile having an extra deck for those tournament settings, but if you are playing it, this could be useful too. So you go, but you pretty much just need like access to Drago, Whitestone Engrave, Debris Dragon with Instant Fusion and Red Eyes. So you go Debris Dragon, get Whitestone. You can banish the Debris Dragon for Red Eyes, Instant Fusion. This is where you need Musician King because it is a spellcaster for Tempest Magician. So you would have to, if you're gonna play Tempest Magician, you need Musician King and Tempest Magician, not Tempest itself. And then you can search at Blue Eyes here. And then you can go Red Eyes effect with Drago. And then this is going to be 1900, 2200, 2800. That's only 6900, so only if like Tempest was at 2300 or something, then it'll be enough for game, but you would actually need an extra card in hand alongside the Blue Eyes you had to search. So, and Tempest automatically gets 500 for its burn because it gets a counter when summoned. So you go effect to get more counters on it, and then you can burn for 1500. So interesting line that you can go for, and obviously you can burn for, say your opponent's at 9,000 life points, you can go discard two more cards to burn for that much as well. So if you upstart once, then this also works. So it's like just like a kind of like a Dark Strike fighter, just like a main phase 2 burn chip in there. So this is similar to the last Tempest Magician. This one's also using Tempest Magician combo. It's a little different. You don't need Drago, or if you don't have Drago, then you go for this. And if your opponent is at 9,000 life points or more, well, not or more, just 9,000 life points. Depends on how many cards you have in hand as well that you're willing to discard. But for this one, you only need one. But this is all you pretty much need for it. You need Waystone Engrave and these 3 cards in hand. So you go to Debris Dragon and get the stone. Go Instant Fusion for your Musician King. And you're going to synchro with the Whitestone to get Tempest Magician. Tempest will get the Blue Eyes. And then here you can just you can banish Debris Dragon for Red Eyes. Tempest Magician on summon automatically gets the counter. You can go effect to discard the Blue Eyes you just searched, get the second counter. You can go Red Eyes, summon the Blue Eyes back, and you attack with Tempest, Red Eyes, and then Blue Eyes, which is exactly 8,000. But, you know, this is like the same thing as the Brio. Like the Brio one's already 8,100 because it's 100 more attack than Tempest. So you can go for this one if you activate Upstart Goblin, because you're at 9,000. This can burn for 1,000, so then you go up to 9,000. So it's a little slight difference from the Brionic one that I showed, where it's 8,100. This one could deal 9,000 with just as simple setups there. So Tempest Magician, aside from just like being in time, has some pretty useful, you know, OTK lines you can do with it. So this card isn't really played in Dragon Turbo too often, but if you were to play something like Battle Fader, you can do this combo. So Battle Fader has to be like in the grave, so you discard with card destruction, or end phase. For hand size, it's in the grave, or you can have special summon Battle Fader to prevent an attack. You can do this like little combo here. So all it really requires is Debris Dragon Instant Fusion. It's not really an OTK combo, but something you can do. So Debris Dragon, you technically don't even need to summon anything with Debris Dragon. You just go Instant Fusion. This is where the Flame Ghost would be useful. Just as you can get this, and so you can play Flame Ghost instead of Dragoness if you want your Colossal Fighter to work in your favor, so you're not boosting it for like Colossal Fighter Armory Arm OTKs. But if your opponent summons Colossal Fighter, then Dragoness is generally better. So in case you have a field of like Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragons, Colossal Fighter can't crash into both of them and then attack again. You can only destroy one of them. So it's kind of like a weird line with that But so you can play either or, it just kind of depends on what you want to do. Something about Dragonus as well is it gets around your Quackmere Drago, or opponent's Quackmere Drago. So you can do some like synchro lines there or something just to get another monster on the field with Dragonus. Whereas Flame Ghost is dark, so you can't do anything there with this. So kind of like slight differences there. But anyways, you have to have Battle Fader, Flame Ghost, and Debris Dragon. And then you just kind of synchro all of them together for a Dark End Dragon. So it's kind of like a, you know, unusual way to summon Dark End Dragon. Usually you can bring it out with by synchroing with Whitestone and Gores, but this is technically another way to get it out on the field. So that's like a little cool play you can do there. Here's another play you can do. Some reason, say your opponent has a monster in the fence that can't be destroyed by battle, something like Spirit Reaper. That's the primary one. But you can go for this line here, where you go Debris Dragon, get Whitestone, banish Debris Dragon, get Red Eyes, and then Prime Material. You can synchro the Prime Material and the Whitestone for Exploder Dragonwing. Usually doesn't come up very often, but you can potentially just like destroy it. And something cool about Exploder Dragonwing too is that you can potentially like ladder into a dark end dragon with it too, just because you can go bring back a Whitestone, and you can synchro there to bring out Dark End Dragon. So say you're in a situation where, for some odd reason, say you have Dragonwing on field, you can bring out Red Eyes and then synchro again into a Dark End Dragon. Boom. So that can also deal with something that's like, say it has like 4,000 attack, something crazy on your opponent's side of the field. So say you're in a situation where you're just trying to put monsters on field, you don't really have like combos to do or ways to dig. You can go Whitestone into Instant Fusion. It's not really an OTK line, but you can bring out Ojama Knight. And the reason Ojama Knight is relevant is because you can bring it back with Debris Dragon. So you say you want to make like a Goyo Guardian here. You can do that, and then on the following turn, you can summon Debris Dragon to get Ojama Knight back. You can banish the Debris Dragon, summon Red Eyes, and that just gets you to another level 6 play. So it's kind of interesting to get to Brionic without needing, or just get to it at level 6 play without needing the Instant Fusion, for the second Instant Fusion anyways. So that is something cool you can do with Ojama Knight if you were to play it. Now this isn't really like an OTK combo or anything like that, it's more like just like a sequencing thing that you need to know with the deck, but I guess you can kind of consider it a combo. So say this is your configuration, you get this a lot like turn 1 of the game, just to upstart for 4 more cards at least. So it's pretty good, otherwise you're not really doing anything. So you activate Super Rejuv, and you can activate Magical Stone Excavation. So now your discard count is at 2, and you add Super Rejuv back. So end phase, you're going to draw 2 cards for the first Rejuv, and then you can activate Super Rejuv and draw 2 more cards. So you end up with the same amount of cards, you're just digging through your deck, which is ultimately what you're trying to do. So say something your hand's something similar along these lines, or it gets to be during your turn. So you don't necessarily need Whitestone Cards of Constance, but it works pretty well for this. So say you Whitestone Cards of Constance, you draw 2 cards, and then you search Blue Eyes. Okay, so you discarded a 1 dragon, you're at 1 count. Then you can go Instant Fusion for Dark Fire Dragon. You can banish it for Red Eyes Darkness Metal. Then you can go Red Eyes, get the Whitestone back. And you just need a monster to tribute set. So most likely it's going to be Blue Eyes, since you just searched out the Whitestone if you're discarding Whitestone. But you can also use another Red Eyes. You can use Trigodia or Gores to tribute set. But anyways, you can just tribute both these monsters for the set Blue Eyes, and then you can potentially get another search. So sadly, this Rejuv, you got the initial discard, but then you're going to draw 3 cards because you distributed 2 dragons, because Rejuv says if you discard or treat a dragon. So something interesting. So you would draw 3 more cards here. Otherwise, your hand wasn't really doing a whole lot. This is mostly like a turn 1 play. Just to see more of your deck again. And the reason you're tribute settings is because it's a little safer. You not really running the risk of brain control, take your monster, and then tribute for Caius or something like that. So setting the monster is pretty much pretty safe. But yeah, that is most of the combos and tricks that you can do with Dragon Turbo that I can think of. If there's anything else that you can think of or know, you can comment down below in the video if I missed anything. But yeah, I hope this helped everyone out. Just to know what dragons are capable of and things they can do. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you all in the next one.